Portions of the following program may have been pre-recorded.
The following program's views, claims, or ideas may not reflect those of WSRR Radio or StylesRebelRadio.com.
And now, we take you behind enemy lines with Lucas DeRazio and Dom Ferro on WSRR Radio.
All Browns fans will go to heaven where football season's never ending. The leaves have changed, smell it in the air. Where every morning is a Sunday morning, the grill is firing and the drinks are pouring. All Browns fans will go to heaven and our Modell can go to hell.
Welcome to another episode of Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio, nationally local, meaning we play your local bands on a national stage, coast to coast. It is January 16th, 2026, 10 a.m. in the morning on your drive to survive, heading into the weekend here on WSRR Radio. Thank you for joining us to kick off your weekend, because like we say on this show, the weekend's already started on Friday. You're not going to get any real work done today. So thanks for listening to us while you pretend to do something on your computer in the office or something like that. Dom, we're recording this on January 15th. By the way, I'm Lucas Strazio, joined as always by Dom Ferro. We're recording this on January 15th, 2026 at 12:50 p.m. Thursday, heading into divisional playoff week in the NFL. Absolute dandy of a wild card weekend. Really in the NFL. Spectacular games all across the board, really.
Really, like the best in years.
Yeah, a great weekend of football.
Maybe the best ever.
Yeah, honestly, maybe the best wild card weekend ever. I mean, every game, I think there was it was like 12 straight quarters started as one-score games. I think that the Patriots ended up beating the Chargers by 13, ended up ruining that streak there. But every game up until the Patriots and Chargers was a one-score game.
Yeah.
Kicked off the weekend with Rams versus the Panthers. Panthers showed a lot of fight in this one.
Yeah.
They got a bright future in Carolina.
They do. They're still a few pieces away. The defense isn't good at all. Bryce Young, though, he's got some of like the it factor. He's clutch. He can make drives happen.
Yeah.
But
he's matured a lot.
But physically, I'm not super impressed with him when I watch him. Like, he looks like he's putting everything into a throw, and it goes 10 yards down the field.
He's a little guy.
He is. So I'm concerned about, like, how bright of a future it really will be. But overall, it was a good showing for them, and I do think they'll be competitive in this division, at least for the next 4 or 5 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, the division's terrible. The Falcons just fired their head coach. We'll get into a little bit of that coaching carousel talk in the next segment. I mean, it's really them and the Bucs now for a while, unless, the Falcons can turn it around.
Saints, though, if Suge got something.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That could be the up-and-coming division. We'll
I think
see.
so.
But Carolina showing some fight in this one. Obviously, they barely got into the playoffs, had a losing record and made it into the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But we're that close. Lost to Stafford and the Rams. Stafford, still one of the MVP frontrunners. Him and Drake May are really it's a 2-horse race at this point. I think that Stafford kind of hurt his MVP chances in like week 17 and 18. He didn't play great in the regular season. And now, so what? The MVP is only for like regular season, right?
Yeah, I think that's all they should take into consideration.
Should or
but
do?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure, but I think the playoffs should play something into it, but I don't think it does.
Okay. But you just said it should be regular season. Which one should it be?
It should be regular season, as in, like, that's what the rules are. But there's going to be bias involved.
Okay.
But in my opinion, if I were to make the rules, I'd say you got to take everything in consideration.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough not to, especially when the NFL awards are like during Pro Bowl week?
Yeah.
So it's like right before the Super Bowl, you're already seeing the playoffs. Yeah, it's tough not to. But anyway, the Rams and Stafford put up 34 points. Puka is just unstoppable. They got Devontae Adams now back. They're ready for a run. They're going to be playing the Bears in the divisional round. We can talk about that game next. The Bears down what was it, 21-0? Was that at
Yeah.
halftime?
I'm not exactly sure like the specific scores, but there are multiple
21-3
times
or
where they were
something at
down
one
3
point?
plus scores, and they just kept on finding ways. And Caleb Williams made some of
Talk
those
about your guy.
impressive plays that I've
Blaze your
seen
boy.
in the NFL this season, especially on that fourth down. I believe it was 4th and 11, I think. Scrambling, just on the move, just
Rolling to
finding
his
ways
left.
to improvise.
Tossing it up to a Dunze.
One of the best throws I've seen in the league in years. Just so clutch. Every time that you thought the Bears were out of this game, they found a way to claw their way back in. Ben Johnson was fired up after this game. Did you see him dap up Matt LaFleur?
I saw him give a quick shake, right? Was it something like that?
But then they showed a separate angle, and Ben Johnson's like getting real down. He's like yelling. He's like screaming right before he gets to him. And Matt LaFleur like he tried to like follow him. It seemed like a little bit,
Yeah, I
but then
saw
you
that a
realize
little
like
bit.
I'll probably look like a clown if I start a fight
After the loss.
collapsing like that once again in the playoffs. But the Bears, I still love them. Still feeling really good about their Super Bowl chances. They need to get off to a hotter start, but they've proven so many times this season that they're never out of a game. And I saw something on Twitter this past week that the Bears brought in, forget which players it was, but they brought a player from the Patriots team and brought a player from the Falcons team from that Super Bowl where Tom Brady came back from 27-3.
Yeah.
They brought 2 of those, so they heard both sides of it, just to show that you're never really out of a game. Like you continue to fight all the way to the end, and I think it's meant something to this team.
Yeah. I mean, they've come from behind time and time again this year, and they do it once again. Cold performance from Caleb
Iceman.
Williams. I think, that's his new nickname now, Iceman. I've seen that floating around a little bit. I don't know.
I like it.
You like? Yeah, you would. You love that guy.
He's he might be the chosen one. I mean, he's the greatest quarterback in Bears history.
Yeah, I mean that's not saying too much. Even like their
But he's
best
played 2
quarterback,
seasons.
their best quarterback of all time is Jim McMahon, probably. Right?
Yeah,
Maybe
or
Jay
Jay
Cutler.
Cutler.
I mean, the only one who ever has won a ring is Jim McMahon.
The
And,
bar
like, he wasn't even that good. They just had a really, really good defense.
the bar was very low,
Yeah,
but there was a ton of pressure on him coming in. They thought a lot of guys were going to be the guy. They thought it was going to be Justin Fields. They thought it was going to be Mitch Trubisky.
Rex Grossman.
They thought it was going to be Rex Grossman. Led them to a Super Bowl. But I think they finally got their guy. And I'll say it again, he's a future MVP. The Bears are future Super Bowl champions. Such a bright future. I mean, you just think about how dominant of a performance Colson Loveland had in this game. He's just a rookie. Dunze in his second year. DeAndre Swift, he's been looking good, but then you've also got Kyle Monangai, a rookie, who's been looking really good.
This team's definitely one to look out for, but the Rams in round 2 are going to be a tough.
It's gonna be a tough one.
That's a tough draw. Rams are actually favored in this one. The spread is -3.5 in favor of LA. So that's an interesting, when they're going to be on the road, that's an interesting line
Chicago.
to come out of the gates in, especially when it's a West Coast team going to be playing in the Midway. A little bit of snow flurries, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. They're here a little bit more on the East Coast. There was like this winter weather advisory for this weekend, which I'm excited. Me and Dom are going to be doing some skiing this week up in New York. I don't know if that's going to get over to Chicago, the Windy City, but either way, it's not going to be California weather for the Rams. So we'll see how that is. But I like what you touched on before. Like they can't get out to a slow start this time because the Rams, as good as the Packers have been at times this year, they've been so up and down. Like I don't think the Rams are going to give up a 21-point lead or 17, whatever it was. Like their offense with Puka and Kyron Williams and Devontae Adams back now, like that offense is going to be tough to slow down, especially once they're on a roll.
Yeah.
So they can't let themselves. I think it's going to be a lot harder to play from behind against this team than it would be for a lot of other teams that they've done that for this or against this year.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. You can't get down 3 scores on the Rams. They showed in this game early on that their offense can turn it on at any second. Puka was electric, as you already mentioned. It's going to be a really good game in this one. I still like the Bears. I think home field advantage matters a lot. That field was rocking last week. It seemed like one of the best environments for an NFL game this season.
Yeah, it was a good one, and I'm excited to see what the Bears do. I think that Chicago is definitely fired up, and for good reason, because they've waited for so long for this, and there's been so many of these games where they've been so close in the last couple of years and found ways to blow it that now the
Mhm.
tide is turning. And I think Ben Johnson obviously is a huge part of that. I think we've said that earlier on this show, earlier in the year, but Bears have got something good going. Someone else who's got something good going, the Eagles wrapping up the NFC wild card, the 49ers
Yeah.
against the Eagles. 49ers came into this one, everyone's saying they're banged up. George Kittle came in banged up, leaves with an Achilles injury. Fred Warner's out, haven't had Ayuk the entire season. McCaffrey, everyone always says he's injury fragile, but he's been, very consistent all year, and he's been there. They've really battled through a lot of different stuff this year.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy, I'm going to say it again. That guy's got motion, man.
He does.
I love what I'm seeing from Purdy.
It is shocking that he was the last pick in the NFL draft because he is the life and soul of this team. Like,
Yeah.
It lives and dies with him. However, I think the 49ers had to do everything possible to get a win in this game.
Did they, or did the Eagles do everything possible to lose? Because, the common commentary about this game is how bad the coaching was. The Eagles ran 4 verts on the game-winning, the play to keep them in the game. A.J. Brown dropped a couple of passes that you have to catch right in the hands.
There were some ramifications. They fired their offensive coordinator
Mhm.
after this one, Kevin Patullo. So, yeah, I don't know.
See the video
It
of
was as much on the Eagles, though. I think the 49ers, they battled. They that Jawan Jennings throw to McCaffrey.
Oh, that was great.
That changes the game right there. And that's something you have to pull out your ass, basically.
Yeah, that was spectacular.
So I'm not all the way in on the 49ers, but they're gritty. They found a way in this game. I thought Eagles were going to win the NFC again, but they put a stop to that quick, which made me happy.
I think they're too banged up to make it all the way, but it is nice to see them continue to make a run.
Yeah. Now they've lost Kittle too.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be a big loss, but Jake Tonjes, man, don't sleep on Tonjes. I
like him too. I think he'll fill in well for him, but Kittle's different.
Did you see the video of the young Philly fan?
Yeah.
They were interviewing him, and he was like, I want Patullo flipping burgers. He's terrible. Get him out of here. That kid was
He got
awesome.
what he wanted too.
Yeah, he did. He was probably thrilled.
Get
Moving
that guy
over,
Joe.
moving over to the AFC, we saw the Jaguars and Bills. Actually, was this the first game of the playoffs?
No, this was
Jaguars
the
and
first
Bills?
game on Sunday.
On Sunday, that's right. So Jaguars and Bills. Bills on the road take down the Jaguars. Jaguars, coming into this year, you were ready to call Trevor Lawrence a bust. You kind of said this was his make or break year.
But
What do you think now after their season's over?
I think that was more of a last season thing.
Yeah.
But I did say, if he doesn't get it done, maybe it's time to move forward. But one thing I did say is Liam Cohen might be the guy.
Yeah.
You might think he's corny, but there's something weird about this guy that you just know he'll find a way here. And he did. He had a really good season. They were, winning this game for majority of it. And then the final 2 minutes,
And then
Josh
Josh
Allen
Allen
had that
happened.
magic.
That's really it. Just that's kind of the big takeaway from this one is Josh Allen happened.
Yeah. He's there's no one like him in this playoff field
No.
that's standing. And he's the only reason they won this game.
Yeah. And I forget who called. I forget which station this game was on, but whoever the color commentary guy was this, a lot of people are saying this is Josh Allen's year. He's the best quarterback really in it.
That was
and they were
Tony Romo.
Yeah. And he was you think about it, and he was not to take anything away from it if they do go all the way, but he was there's no Mahomes, there's no Burrow, there's no Lamar.
This is the chance.
This is his chance, especially looking at the AFC. I mean, the other quarterbacks remaining in the AFC are C.J. Stroud and Bo Nix, who are both kind of unproven, have shown good things and bad things. They both have really good defenses that they're going to have to play, whoever they play, or they're going to play the Broncos this next round. And if they play the Texans. And then Drake May, who again, young, unproven, second year, but has looked like a stud.
Yeah.
I'm going to hype up Drake May every chance I get. But yeah, I mean, on the AFC side of things, I think it's far and away that Josh Allen's the best player.
Yeah.
In the, at least the best quarterback.
If you think that the NFL is predictable, then the Bills are definitely winning the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
It just makes too much sense. They've been there so many times in the last 4 seasons that you think they have to break through at this point, especially with the quarterbacks that have stopped him before out of the playoffs. This is the chance right here.
Yeah, when you think of quarterback duels, like if it just comes down to a quarterback duel, it's like he has the playoff resume behind him. He has the experience in these big moments. He has the pedigree. He's been the MVP. I loved that I got a push notification from ESPN, like of one of their, sometimes they'll just send you like a push notification that is absolutely nothing. And it's just like one of the talking points from one of those stupid roundtable shows. And it was like, Rex Ryan, quote, Josh Allen is the best player in the league. It's like, really? Last year's MVP? You think so? That's such a hot take, Rex Ryan. Thanks for sending me that.
Appreciate it, ESPN.
I really appreciate that push notification.
Yeah,
ESPN.
I had to turn those things off because they're obnoxious. But like you could talk about the quarterbacks who didn't make the playoffs, Mahomes, Lamar, but I think the quarterbacks that have just been eliminated from wild card weekend are beneficial for Josh Allen. Like getting Trevor Lawrence out of the way early is big because if
Herbert's
he gets hot
out now,
I think Herbert was more dangerous than Drake May for Josh Allen, just because I think Herbert has more of that, unpredictability. Drake May, like you're just going to need to play a good game against this team. The Chargers, things can get out of control when you're playing them, and that's the type of game that I don't think Josh Allen succeeds in.
Yeah, I think that this ground game is going to be the biggest thing moving forward, and I think that the biggest thing in this playoffs too for them is that they need to get James Cook going because Josh Allen is great running the ball, and he obviously can, but like he's doing everything, and he's banged up right now. Like he needs some physical relief pause from James Cook. Like he needs to have some plays where he can kind of take it off, like take a play off and still have offensive production. Because it's like if he's taking a hit 60 times a game, even though he is a big, strong, physical guy, and he has been doing it, like that, you can't rely on that to win. Basically,
Josh Allen may have had the most successful tush push in NFL history.
Oh my God, that was awesome. Game. At one point, he was off the ground, like he wasn't even running at all. His linemen literally had picked him up, and were walking with him. It was awesome.
That made me like the tush push again. That's what football's about.
I liked it even though they lost this game, the Eagles against the Giants on Thursday Night Football earlier in this year, the Giants won the game, but the Eagles lined up on like 3rd and 1 from their own 4 and ran the tush push 4 straight times and scored. And every time I watch it, like it is hard for not to pull the card of like, I played football, whatever, but like it's hard for someone who hasn't been in a situation like that to understand the beauty in it. But like when I watch that, I'm like, if I was in, like if you're in that pile and you're just like lining up and it's like, all right, I'm going to try to push you back and you're going to try to push me back. Like that is the purest form of the sport, really. Yeah. Purest form of sport in general too. Not even just that sport. Like it's almost into like Roman Greco wrestling.
Yep.
Like, which is, they say, the purest sport.
Yeah. No, you make a good point. It's just that it's boring to watch on television.
Yeah. It's not.
But if you put yourself in the mindset of a center, or even the guy like a tight end who's back there pushing the running back, it could be pretty electric. I can't lie.
It's spectacular to see. I don't care what anyone says. Patriots Chargers was the next game. This one, honestly, a little bit of a snoozer.
Yeah.
For most of it. I mean, like it was close, but it was like 3-6. It wasn't a very good game. There was a Patriots had a turnover when they were backed up in their own area on like their own 3. I think Drake May threw a pick that got tipped.
Yeah.
And the Chargers didn't score off it. Like this was a really great defensive game, and the Patriots defense showed a lot to where if they can keep this up, like everyone already knew about their offense, and Drake May and Travion Henderson and Ramondre Stevenson have been getting more and more, they're feeding off each other more and more. I think that this defense was kind of the big surprise in this one, and it was like, if this defense can play like that and stop Justin Herbert this many times and only give up 3 points and hit him as many times as they did, like this was really a watch out for the Patriots game.
This defensive performance was similar to like the Eagles in the Super Bowl last year. Like they just did not give Herbert a chance, especially towards the end of the game. Like it was a suffocating performance from them. The Chargers fired their offensive coordinator, Greg Roman.
Oh, really?
His name is.
I wasn't aware.
Because they just couldn't get anything going in this game. 3 points is unacceptable in the playoffs. But yeah, Patriots defense reminiscent of one of the most dominant defensive performances I've seen. Milton Williams, though, he's the common factor between those two teams.
Yeah.
He was dominant in this one. I think he had a couple sacks. So Patriots defense definitely made me more concerned about them.
You're more of a Drake May believer now because of that? Because
More of a Patriots believer.
Okay. Vrabel's the man.
He
somehow found a way to be bleeding again on the sidelines.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that clip.
I did not see
his
that.
Mouth was bleeding. He was licking up his own blood. I was like, how did that happen? I don't even know, but it definitely got me fired up and got the squad fired up.
I mean, I definitely didn't believe in Vrabel in this second time around. I really liked him when he was the Titans head coach, but for some reason I just didn't think this was going to work out, and I don't know why. He's the guy. He's a dog.
I'm not gonna lie. I knew it was gonna happen, and I believed in him the whole time, and that's why it's even more of a punch in the gut. That now the Browns have fired Kevin Stefanski, and Mike Vrabel was in the building last year. We'll get into a little bit more of that coaching carousel talk in the next segment. In the final playoff game, we'll give Dom some time to reflect and collect himself before talking about Steelers Texans right here on Behind Enemy Lines.
What's the difference between the shirt you're currently wearing and the one that I am? Well, both do their job of concealing us from the outside world and social boundaries. But one little black swoosh makes yours cost nearly double. That red rectangle may not change how warm you are, but it certainly changes the price tag. The truth is, nobody cares about the details. Get to the point with GenericClothes.com. Have a laugh at the big brand clothing company's expense with shirts that simply say sports team, political statement, music band, and more. A shirt for any occasion and the perfect gift. GenericClothes.com.
Hi, this is Melissa.
And hey, it's Matt.
Coming at you from Synergy Music Studio.
We are a recording and production studio located on the south side near Chicago.
Check us out online at synergymusicstudio.com. We offer recording, mixing, and mastering.
And follow us on Instagram at Synergy Music Studio. Rock hard.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines. We are proudly brought to you by our partners at Hellbender Vinyl, Pittsburgh's first and only custom vinyl record pressing plant. It's one of America's most trusted record pressing plants, and we love them. We love them. We love them so much. Hellbender on quality, Hellbent on service, hellbendervinyl.com. Go to hellbendervinyl.com right this second and get your thing custom made, because you don't want to just settle for the ones and zeros on the internet. You want that thing in your hands, that physical, juicy copy.
Mm-hmm.
That thing that'll last you forever.
Yeah, baby.
The thing that'll last you years, maybe 20 plus years, maybe as long as Mike Tomlin was the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That was is really hurting you to say. I can already tell.
I'm still processing it. A lot of emotions. Overall, I'm a lot sadder than a lot of Steelers fans, it seems like, about it. But I can see that maybe this could be for the better. But that's a big conversation to be had, and a lot of that lies on the future and who the Pittsburgh Steelers hire. Mike Tomlin announced to owner Art Rooney II that he will be stepping down stepping down as the head coach.
You're just distraught
of the Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm rattled right now.
You texted me immediately and just went, I'm depressed.
Yeah, it's like, but I did say that I told you exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah, you did. You called it on this show.
On this show, exactly. Run the tape back. I said, Mike Tomlin, he will not get fired as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He will only walk away, and he won't take another head coaching job. He'll go to TV. Maybe a few years down the line, he'll come back to coaching, but he's not just going to jump to another team. This was a big decision for him. You could tell that he was exhausted all season. Overall, I'm just happy for the guy. He brought us to Super Bowl. He won another Super Bowl as a assistant coach with the Buccaneers. Like, he's had a very successful NFL career. I hope he can kick back, relax, and look back and be happy about the work that was done and the people that he's influenced. Because that's the biggest thing. Like, you hear the way the Steelers players talk about him, like, everyone who's played for him has said like he's the best coach I've ever
Yeah.
played for. So that means something.
You won't hear a bad word about him in any NFL circle.
Exactly. Like whatever the fans want to say about him, that's nonsense.
Those fickle, spoiled Steelers fans.
They really are. And that's a funny thing because like the way the national media talks about Tomlin and the way that local fans talk about him is completely different.
Yeah.
The national fans see it how it is. Like this guy consistently wins. Like any other team in the league would be so lucky to have a guy like him.
Never had a losing season.
Never.
Finished his career 30 games above 500.
Won 200 plus games in the NFL. Started when he was like 35 years old. He had dudes on his roster that were older than him.
Yeah.
Won a Super Bowl in his second season. Made another Super Bowl a few years later. It's a really good career for Mike Tomlin, but the truth of the matter is he hadn't won a game in years. And there were a lot of coaches.
Sorry, actually, he was 80 games above 500.
Yeah.
193 and 114 all time.
Yeah. And then if you consider playoff wins in there,
Yeah.
200 plus, like he's one of the greatest to ever do it. I'm lucky to have seen him. But Lucas, I think we both know that it was time.
Yeah.
Things weren't
think
going
so?
the right way. Like
So
you weren't winning playoff games.
My question
7
is,
straight losses.
I have a couple questions. One, do you think that he stepped away is the headline? That's what everyone's hearing. Mike Tomlin stepped down as head coach. Do you think that this was a mutual coming to that he was going to step down between both the organization and him? Again, you mentioned they're probably not going to fire him. That's just not the way the Steelers do things.
Yeah.
He was going to step down and he was going to step away. Do you think that they had this conversation like, I do think that's right? Or do you think if the Rooneys had it their way, he would still be the head coach for at least one more year?
They might have been able to, like, if they really wanted him, they might have been able to convince him to like finish out his contract.
Yeah.
Just 2 more years.
Uh-huh.
He left $50 million on the table. And he's not going to be able to take another head coach job unless the Steelers would let him. And that team would have to compensate the Steelers. But that's another conversation. I think he was genuinely just tired of working. I think he felt underappreciated.
He should. He was underappreciated in Pittsburgh. My other question is, I think that maybe this isn't a question, but like now they have no chance of having Rodgers next year.
No,
in my
no
opinion.
shot.
Do you think that he should have, the Steelers would have liked him to stay one more year, and if he did, they would have tried to bring Rodgers back?
I think so.
Or do you think that it was kind of mutual because it was like, let's just step away from Rodgers? He doesn't really seem like he wants to be here anymore, in all honesty. I think that he's ready to try to win one, play for one more team that he can compete on. We've talked about the Vikings and some other teams. I think that it would have been dumb for the Steelers to draft a quarterback and have draft a new quarterback and have a coach that they knew was only going to be there for one more year. Do you think that that's part of why it was too? Is like, let's just do a completely new sweep of quarterback and head coach.
Maybe. I think like Tomlin knew, like, we've just been trying to piece this thing together. And this was a year where, they didn't go all the way in, but they made a lot of big moves to show that they were trying to get it done.
They definitely did. I mean, they sent Minka away for Jalen Ramsey.
Which they completely lost that trade.
They probably, I don't know, early in the season, you were high on it.
I was. Like, I think Ramsey was good, but now it's as far as like the future goes.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't get it done, and now like what's Ramsey really going to bring?
Future for this year.
And I was more optimistic about Jonnu Smith earlier in the season. I thought like, he's just getting used to it. Like, he's just getting his way worked in, and they kept on trying to work him in, and he was one of the worst tight ends the Steelers have had.
At one point, I feel like they really had no clue how to use him. At one point, I think it was against the Ravens in Week 18. They had him in the backfield. And gave him a pitch. I was like, your 2 best players right now are Kenneth Gainwell and Jalen Warren.
Yeah.
Why would you take a carry away from one of those 2 guys?
And that's the Arthur Smith offense. Like, there's a lot of questionable things that happen. And one week it looks great. The other week it's like, this guy has no clue what he's doing. He's getting a lot of offers to be head coach, offense coordinator, a lot of different places. So I expect both the coordinators to be gone, and this head coach, whoever it is, will bring in his own guys. He'll hopefully draft a quarterback.
The Steelers head coach next year.
No, I don't think so. As far as the odds go right now, I can rattle off some.
Yeah,
these
let's see.
right now.
By the way, of course, Steelers lose to the Texans at home, 30-6. Me and Dom both at the game.
Yeah,
Saw a nice little drone show at halftime. That was really the best part of the game, other than maybe.
drone show is pretty nice.
I got the Annie Ann's pretzel was solid. The hot dog was all right. The sighting of Davis Mills was the highlight of my night, of
Mhm.
course. Drone show at halftime. Now you in the break you said first time I've ever seen a drone show live.
Yeah,
In the break you said better than fireworks, huh?
significantly.
You think?
There's no evolution with fireworks. It's been
Oh.
the same for the last 100 years.
But when you got a good thing, you don't break it.
It's
You don't fix
it's not
something that
bad,
ain't
but like
broken.
it's just loud. It's like drones, like you're telling, you can tell a story. Fireworks, you're
They
just
did.
watching
They
things
told a good
explode.
story. It was cool. They showed the terrible towel. They
Mhm.
showed, Santonio Holmes corner pylon
Yep.
catch.
They show a lot of great
They
stuff.
had the
there.
Lynn Swan catch there. The shocking thing, they
Myron
didn't have
Cope.
the immaculate reception.
Yeah, I thought that was gonna be in there.
That was like after the Lynn Swan thing, I was like, oh, they're gonna go over some Steelers moments. I was like, definitely immaculate
Well,
conception's gonna be
the whole show was about like
Jesus Christ.
the creation of the terrible towel.
terrible towel.
So I don't know if that was around.
That might have been before.
It might have been.
Yeah,
I'm not 100%
Possibly.
sure.
I don't know.
That's my
100%
best
either.
guess though, because I
Terrible
thought that
towel.
was gonna make it too.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
All right, give me
Off the
what are the
towel.
head coaching odds for the Steelers next year?
Right now, this is updated as of 10 a.m. on January 15th. Right now, the far and away favorite, Chris Shula, the grandson of Don Shula, the
Whoa.
defensive coordinator of the Los Angeles Rams.
Whoa.
A guy who's about 40 years old, another guy who could last about 20 years in the organization. He's a guy that I'm excited about, a guy that I would be totally okay if they hired.
Chris Shula, I believe, was a former John Carroll football coach.
No way.
Yeah,
You're
of course.
kidding.
I believe he was there when my brother was there. Yeah, John Carroll, defensive coordinator, 2014.
Wow. He moved
Chris
up the
Shula
way fast.
Was a stud, yeah. Ball State assistant linebackers coach in 2010. Indiana 2011 to 2013 grad assistant. 2014 John Carroll DC, and then made the jump immediately to the Chargers defensive quality control. The blue streak to NFL pipeline is insane.
That is crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome to see.
That is cool.
But yeah, Shula, very good coach. I
That
know that.
name,
I could
like-
see that.
It's got to be good.
Yeah.
Chris Shula, like Don Shula's grandson. You're kidding me?
This would be their fourth coach in the last 60 years to go from Knoll to Cower to Tomlin to Shula. Like those
Like,
are
that's
four
crazy.
great names.
That's crazy.
just all-time names.
The craziest thing I heard someone say the other day is the Steelers have had. Well, this will be their fourth head coach since Richard Nixon was the president.
Wow.
Like that just blows my mind.
That is
It's
crazy.
hard to believe.
Now, what was the Vrabel stat you gave me in the break?
I don't know exactly how many playoffs wins he's had, but he's had wins with two teams since Tomlin's won his last playoff game. And he's not
Yeah.
the only coach who's done that. I believe Andy Reid has done that. I believe there's multiple coaches that have done that. I'm going to have to look at this and break. But there's so many coaches and crazy names of coaches who have just won playoff games since Tomlin won his last one. Like guys Doug Peterson. He's a guy who's won playoff games with two teams.
Yeah.
He's been fired from two teams since Tomlin won a playoff game.
This was my take last night. I was at a gathering before my bowling league with some other
you win?
Yinzers. Huh?
Did you win?
I don't think so. I don't know how the
Dude.
scoring works. I did all
What'd you
right.
roll?
First game, 140. Not
All right,
bad for
not
me.
bad. That's
That ain't
pretty
bad
solid.
for me. I was cooking a little bit.
Spin it?
I was yeah.
All right, there we
Gotta
go.
spin it a
Have
little bit.
to.
But I was talking to a couple of other Yinzers and Steelers fans, and they kind of said like it was time for him to go. It's not just like the timing isn't right. Like I kind of said they're at like different stages. Someone related it to a breakup. They were like, I know it's a good girlfriend. I know she's good, but I don't know if she's good for me.
Yeah.
And I know we've had good times, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be good in the future. And it was kind of like they're at two different stages of their life, in my
sure.
opinion. Like Tomlin is, he's helped build this franchise. Obviously, it helped because he took over a great franchise. Has never had a losing season.
Mhm.
He's not ready for a rebuild. Like he doesn't want to do a rebuild. I feel like,
No.
and that's really what this team needs is a rebuild. They need a losing season, and let's be honest, he doesn't want to have a losing season. He never has, and
it would kind of hurt his legacy. Now, do the Steelers need to have a losing season to really have a full rebuild?
No, they don't. They don't need a losing season, but
like
they need a rebuild.
If you find a way to trade up into the top 10 of the draft, you can find a way to retool and still rebuild. But I think that's the biggest thing that wasn't working with Tomlin is not coming into rebuilding, but just tweaking things, and it was the same result every year. Now, the second guy on the list is another guy who really interests me. Plus 350, Brian Flores, former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, then got fired and got into like some legal issues with the NFL. He was like suing them, and it was a whole bunch of nonsense. But then the Steelers hired him as like a defensive quality control guy or whatever. He left. He goes to be the defensive coordinator at the Vikings.
And they've had a bad team in this last year, but their defense has been lights out.
For like since he's been the D coordinator, they've had one of the best defenses in the league. So I'm interested in Flores being brought back to the Steelers organization. I'd love him to be the head coach. That was kind of the vision I had when they brought him in as like a defensive guy.
Yeah, I remember you saying that like he's the next head coach up. And I think he very well could be. I think that would be a great fit for him and the Steelers. I would hate to see it as a Browns fan because I think that it would be beneficial for the both of them. But yeah, that would be a great spot for him.
Would be a great fit.
A great guy for the Steelers. So this coaching carousel, I think there's 8 open jobs right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now 7 as of today, as John Harbaugh just got hired by the Giants.
I like that. I like that for both of them.
Yeah, I think it's pretty nice. I think
he's gonna
I'm worried about it. I would have loved to see Harbaugh in brown and orange, but I was pretty sure it wasn't going to happen anyway.
He's gonna give problems to the Eagles, Cowboys, and Commanders.
Yeah, I think so.
That division's gonna be different now. That's a major step up from Brian Dable.
Now I think that the Ravens are the best spot a head coach can go to right now.
Probably.
I think the Ravens are one of the only.
If you look at the roster, like all things considered, it's the Steelers' job.
Yeah.
Just based on history. But if you're just talking about the roster and stuff, yeah, it's the Ravens.
Oh, okay. I was confused by what you were saying there. Yeah, I think that the Ravens are probably the only team right now with a head coach opening that it's like if a guy gets in there, he can win right away.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas any other one, it's like they have good-looking futures and like he can rebuild and do whatever. Like the Ravens are the only one where it's like they could win the Super Bowl next year with a first-year head coach.
That's true. That's a good point. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, so I mean that's obviously the number one spot.
I'm
for anyone
to see their head
the
coach.
second one. Yeah, their head coach odds would be interesting. But the second best job is probably the Steelers. Just because of the franchise overall now.
I think that's bigger than the Ravens though. Like it's the safest job. It's the best job in football in the world.
Yeah, but not right now. Right this second.
But like I feel like it doesn't matter. Like the Steelers are such a big part of like the NFL history, and like they're so loyal to the head coaches that I think just getting that job there's like a big name that's been floating around is Marcus Freeman, and I was thinking a lot like what's a better job, Notre Dame or the Steelers?
You've said before that Notre Dame's the best coaching job.
It might be like you're treated like a god there. I mean, Alabama's probably the best.
You know what I loved about
that around?
Yeah, I was gonna say, but that was just because of Saban. Like, I don't know about if what's his name, DeBoer, Elon DeBoer.
Yeah,
I don't know now.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see the future there, but it's still that he's got the best office of any football coach.
Okay, that's what it's about. Who's got the coolest desk?
Maybe. Who's got the most resources? He's probably got the best private jet.
It is true. I mean, he definitely has, when it comes down to recruiting, it does come down to
swag,
resources, and selling it, Fox Sports has the Raiders hiring Brian Flores, by the way.
Huh?
The Raiders hiring Brian Flores,
Did
not
it happen?
the Steelers. No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying that's their pick for
Got
it.
Got you.
It does have the Steelers hiring Chris Shula.
All right. I like that.
It has Robert Saleh going to the Cardinals.
That's a guy who's also on the Steelers list. I do not want him. Like, if we get Robert Saleh, I might be out.
for the Browns' sake, I wouldn't mind Robert Saleh. The guy that I don't want as a head coach, I think this would be a great fit for an OC in terms of for the Browns, because we're shifting now to another team that obviously does not have a head coach. I don't even know if we've recorded an episode since Stefanski got fired, have we?
No.
I forget, but
I don't think so.
Mike McDaniel is who Fox Sports thinks the Browns should hire.
You don't like that?
I like him as an OC. I would love them to hire him as an OC. I think he can get really creative with the run game and use Quinshon Judkins. I think he can get creative with not top-tier talent at wide receiver right now and maybe give – I don't think Tua to Shedeur Sanders is that much of a drop-off, in all honesty, at least in terms of pure talent.
It's similar.
I don't think that's like a crazy drop-off. I think Shedeur maybe even is a touch more athletic, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe a touch less arm talent, but like I think those guys are pretty even.
Yeah.
I think Mike McDaniel offensively, if he was just focused on that instead of organizing everything, which I think I did say this last week now that I think about it, I think he could really flourish, and I think he could really do something fun in Cleveland.
Yeah.
But I don't want him as a head coach.
I think even head coach could be solid. Now the problem with being the head coach is that the decisions would be too much on him. Or like he was loyal to Tua. Like the Dolphins organization made a decision to give him a big contract, and McDaniel stuck with him. Like he could have benched him for Ewers early in the season. He could have benched him for Zach Wilson early in the season, but he stuck with him because he's just a loyal guy. I'm afraid he'd get loyal to Shedeur.
Is that a bad thing though? For at least for 1 year?
Well, that's not loyal if it's just for 1 year.
I know, but for this year,
like offensive coordinator, like he could stick with some things and really see it through.
That would be an interesting personality clash. Mike McDaniel and Shedeur Sanders.
I think they could be boys though.
And then of course there's always Dion. Yeah, that's always the name that you threw his hat into the coaching ring. But
his odds are way too high.
This is Behind Enemy Lines on WSR Radio. Stick with us for our final segment. After this break, we'll get a little bit more into coaching carousel, maybe some other stuff too, right here on WSRR Radio.
If LimeWire taught us anything, your digital music is free and open to piracy, and even manipulation when it comes to digital distribution. So why settle for a bunch of ones and zeros floating around on the internet? Make your release something special with Hellbender Vinyl. Hellbender is one of America's most trusted custom vinyl record pressing plants and works with local artists to get their next release pressed exactly to their liking. So check out Pittsburgh's first and only custom vinyl pressing plant today by visiting hellbendervinyl.com to get started. And don't forget, all customers at Hellbender Vinyl get 5 free test presses at no additional charge. Hellbent on quality, hellbent on service, hellbendervinyl.com.
Welcome back to Behind Enemy Lines right here on WSRR Radio, brought to you proudly by our partners at GenericClothes.com. Nobody cares about the details. Get to the point at GenericClothes.com. Don't sell out to the big brand clothing empires and their prices. Make a statement at their expense with GenericClothes.com. It is time to talk coaching once again here on WSRR Radio. There are some vacancies in the NFL. There were 9 to start the day. There are now 8 as the Giants hired John Harbaugh, which we touched on in the last segment. The Fox Sports website has the number 1 best coaching availability spot as the Ravens. I think that's probably where a lot of people would want to go. Like I said in the last segment, they're kind of the only win now team that has a head coach opening. Their number 2 one, which surprised me a little bit, is the Raiders.
Yeah.
Which
Fernando.
They've got the number 1 overall pick. They're probably going to take Fernando Mendoza. That's what it seems like right now. They've got Max Crosby. They've got Ashton Genty. They've got Brock Bowers. They got some good young pieces. They've got no one for him to throw to, really, besides Tez Johnson. Or no, not Tez Johnson. Trey Tucker is the name I was looking for. Who I like, actually. I actually like Tucker. And Brock Bowers. They have him to throw to.
They got rid of Jacoby Myers, traded him.
That's right. I was going to say, really, their best receiver, Jacoby Myers, they got rid of.
Brock Bowers. he's different.
Yeah,
I know he's not
a
a
man. Don't get me wrong. I love Brock Bowers.
He's
But-
the best receiver by far.
I kind of thought that John Harbaugh, I thought it would be fun if he took this job to see him and Jim play each other 2 times a year. Be in
Yeah.
the same division.
That would be
that would have
fun.
been cool.
That would have been nice. That would have been something to look forward
You
to.
think their parents
Play
told
the
them
year.
not to? Be like, no, don't.
You're
don't
gonna
play
ruin
your
it.
brother.
You're going to ruin Thanksgiving.
Because then you guys won't be able to both get in the playoffs and like
That's
stuff like
true.
that. Like it'll be harder for both of you guys to get in the
Yeah.
playoffs.
It would be cutthroat.
Now you guys
They
can
want
both
you
win
another
your
Super Bowl.
division and see each other in the NFC
I
Championship.
want to see another Harbaugh,
Yeah, that would have been tough.
which the first one was weak. People act like that was a good Super Bowl. Man, the lights went out.
No, that was a good. I like that.
The
Super Bowl.
lights went out.
Jacoby
Come on.
Jones had the long touchdown.
Yeah.
That was sick. Then the lights went out and the Niners had a comeback. The Ravens sealed Ray Lewis's career with a big defensive stand to keep Kaepernick off the board and win it for Flacco, elite Flacco.
Didn't love it.
No,
No.
I was pretty hyped watching that game.
Not one of the best. Not one of the worst, but definitely not one of the best Super Bowls.
I thought it was fun. I enjoyed that.
How the
one.
lights going to go out?
They have the Giants. That was also like the 3rd time that year. I don't know what the hell was going on with the power grid in America, but that was like the 3rd time that year that a game had lights go out at. I
Yeah.
remember. Maybe the NFL scriptwriters were just, spamming that one.
Trying to give them a little, make sure they weren't too scared when it happened during
Yeah.
the game. Like, this is normal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Maybe that was what it was.
Get a little test. See if we
Yeah.
can handle
Because
it.
it happened. I remember it happened at Candlestick Park
Yeah.
where the Niners used to play. And it was like, oh, it's the like, I think it was the last year that the Niners were playing at Candlestick. They're like, oh, it's such an old stadium. That can happen. Like a generator blew or something.
Speaking of generators, there's like something like that near
Oh, with the Niners, that
yeah,
conspiracy theory now?
near the current 49ers
Uh-huh.
stadium and like practice facility.
There's like a substation next to it.
Yeah.
And people are saying that the radiation coming off of a substation can weaken tendons and stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why they've had so many injuries. And
I mean,
they have. Trent
yeah.
Williams has barely played a lot of this year. Kittle now torn Achilles.
everyone's gone
couple of
down
ACLs.
one at a time. Like the average is a lot higher there. So
Yeah.
it's something to, I wouldn't doubt it.
That's your conspiracy theory.
That's not
to
mine.
look
That's
up
other people's.
it's for the
Okay,
listeners.
yeah,
not
for
you.
theirs.
Take it easy. I'm not coming at you. That's your conspiracy theory of the week to research.
I don't got my tinfoil hat on.
Not yet.
I just see some on Twitter. I'm like, and that's it.
Yeah. That's as far as you investigated.
Yeah, usually.
I just saw the Google Maps picture of like the circle from
Yep.
the practice,
circled
the
it.
practice field, and the
They did the markup on the iPhone app.
that's right. It was clearly a screenshot on Google Maps. Awesome.
That's science.
That's science right there for you. That's as deep as you need to go. Looking into like we just talked about, Mendoza's probably going to be the Raiders quarterback. In our last couple minutes here, one of the most interesting stories already coming out of the draft talk is that Dante Moore, the Oregon quarterback who just lost to Indiana in the college football playoff, returning for his 2026 season.
Mm-hmm.
And when I saw that, I was kind of like, oh, that's interesting. Like, with all the NIL money now, he's probably going to make just as much. He'll make a ton of money there. They got a good team. It'll be, another good year for Dan Lanning to go and not win anything in the playoffs. But I didn't think about the fact that a day or two before that, I had seen that Dylan Raiola is transferring there, which you brought up to me in the break. Very interesting that Dylan Raiola, who came out as like the number 1 quarterback, 5-star quarterback out of his class, immediately started at Nebraska, transferred this year, commits to Oregon, and then
Yeah.
their starting quarterback says, no, I'm not going to leave.
Well, he had to have known that this was a possibility. I don't know how much they let him on, but I don't know if I feel bad for him.
I would love to know.
But-
And I'd love to know if he already signed the letter of intent. Like, is there any way he can? I feel like he would be
I don't think he's backing out.
one of those guys who like thinks he's bigger than the system, and he would be like, no, I'm going to try to find a way to fight this and get out of it, and then somehow is going to have to like forfeit his whole next season because he's in a legal battle with
No
the
play
NCAA.
when he's like 27.
Yeah, I could 100% see that happening, and he's going to be another one of those guys. I don't want to say he is, but I think there's a strong possibility that he's going to be one of those guys who was all the talk coming out of high school, highly touted, highly recruited, and is never really going to, like, I don't know if he's ever really going to make it in the NFL. Like, he could be like a
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler guy, maybe.
Maybe.
I almost feel like that might be,
Might be
shouldn't
too
say his
much.
peak right now, but that's kind of like his trajectory. at
It
this
definitely
point.
seems like it. I mean,
Trajectory. I said that weird.
I could see him never playing a game at Oregon. Not because of him like trying to back out and like causing issues with
But
like
he's
NIL.
just sits the bench this year, and then he
and then
transfers next.
again. That's,
see
I think,
that.
the most likely scenario here. Clip that because I've gotten a few things right recently.
Yeah, you're
in this
cooking.
program.
But if he does sit out this whole year, why would he, like, the next year he might as well stay, right?
Yeah, but like college football is
You think he's
going
to get offended and be like, I can't.
bouncing back and
They
forth.
sat me.
Like the amount of players, the number is astronomical though. And like the percentage of players that are transferring it just can't be good for the sport.
No.
Now, the big thing that came out after this Indiana-Oregon game was like, oh, Indiana, all their players are like 27. Like all their players are so old. I think that's taken a lot away from how good this Indiana team is. Like, yeah, it's an older team.
Are they? I didn't see that. I didn't know they were
That's
old.
all the stuff I was seeing on Twitter after the game. Like,
I'm only
there's
26. You think they might need me?
I think you should be on standby.
I think
for the
Signetti
national
might give me a
championship.
call.
He might be. He's a guy who would like to see the Steelers hire, but he's just got to be like college football for life, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he'll move up.
Like I don't even think
Ever.
NFL players would like him the way he coaches.
Yeah, I think
he's a bit intense.
He could be like, I almost want to say an Urban Meyer, but I don't think he would get into like the off-field troubles that Meyer did when he was with the Jags. Like I just think he's a college coach.
Yeah,
maybe like Saban more.
True.
There you go.
2 Yinzers too. Well, Saban was like a West Virginia
Really?
guy,
I didn't
but
know
he was
that.
a Steelers fan growing
I didn't know
up.
Sig was a
Pittsburgh guy.
Whippeal man.
True Yinzer started at I think
He was a quarterbacks coach at Alabama. He was in the
coaching.
Saban
He was
tree.
coaching at like what's it called? He was coaching at Elon, but before that he was coaching at
Shane Gillis.
no. It's a college around
here, Slippery Rock, IUP.
I think it was IUP.
Cal.
He was a coach. He was head coach at IUP from 2011 to 2016.
What?
Yeah.
Why did I never know
Isn't
that?
that
IUP
crazy?
is really good.
Yeah, he turned that place around. He's turned everything around. He went from IUP to Elon to JMU, and now Indiana, where they seem poised to win a national championship.
And he said, all I do is
against
win.
Miami Hurricanes.
Google me.
That's right. He's cold. He's ice cold. I will be rooting for the Hoosiers in this national championship.
I don't say it's a sure thing and it's a lock, but I don't. I think it's going to be tough for
Miami.
Miami.
They've been finding ways, backs against the wall, beating the best teams in the nation to get to this point.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. By the time our next episode comes out, I think that game's going to have been played, right? Doesn't it? I think it's this Monday, right?
It is this Monday.
Well, there's our
minus 8.5 point spread for Indiana.
There's our college football playoff preview. We think Indiana's going to win. That's about it. That's
And
about
cover.
all we got. And cover?
8.5.
The 8.5?
That's crazy.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Why not?
Your favorite like 7.5ers Alabama. I was like, no way. I was like, Alabama spread all day.
They went BTA on them.
They did. Just like they've been doing this entire playoff run. Go Hoosiers, baby.
Yeah.
And
Mendoza's the flipping man. He's going to be a dog in Las Vegas. I'm excited to see it. Thank you guys for listening to Behind Enemy Lines on WSRR Radio. We're the flipping best.
Yes.
The preceding program was a sponsored production. The views, claims, and ideas expressed may not represent those of WSRR Radio.